Hi guys, and welcome to the seventh video of my series talking about precious metals and the worldwide economy. And today I want to present you my favorite book concerning the precious metals sector. It's called Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver, and it's written by Michael Maloney. But before starting with this book, I will point out some of the, for me, interesting news in the last week and in the coming week. I've written an incredible interview with Bill Gross in the Financial Times Germany yesterday, and he was pointing out that the whole financial system in the United States, or the refinanciation about with T-bills and bonds, is a Ponzi scheme. He is managing a 250 billion dollar fund, absolute return fund. He is investing billions in this stuff, and he's calling it a Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme, and fraud. He's calling it fraud in public, and he's investing billions for investors. No, I don't know. Has been incredible for me, but we are living in incredible times. So incredible news are getting boring and are getting daily business probably. Another funny stuff is the last week we have been hearing astonishing news from the silver market. There has been news and rumors, and some called it conspiracy news concerning the fraud in the silver market. But now we're seeing official investigations. We have seen articles in Wall Street Journal and Bloomberg, and it's really a big story now concerning the silver market. But I will tell you next time about it because it's a little bit more complicated, and there won't be enough time today to explain it to you. Next week we will see another incredible, not incredible, but really remarkable events. There will be the elections in the United States, and there will be the Fed decision, whether they print 200 billion, I don't know, 2 trillion, 3 trillion new money for the market. The experts are estimating at least 200 billion, but the range for the estimations is really broad. So the market will be a really interesting week, the upcoming week. Also, it will be interesting to see what happens with the precious metals. Silver was moving again really high the last Friday, around 3% up in euros, and I think there might be a correction after the decision, but might also be an explosion after the decision. But let's see. Nobody knows. I have no crystal ball to look in, but for me there's no better way not to fly to invest than in the silver. But that's one story apart. But for not wasting too much time, I will switch to this marvelous book from Michael Maloney. I've been reading some books concerning the precious metals, but this one was really the most remarkable one, and that helped me, or how could I say it? It helped me to a little bit to open my eyes in some positions. The book is divided in four main parts. He's in yesterday, today, tomorrow, and how to invest. But the remarkable stuff about Maloney, you will find a lot of videos on YouTube from him, and I can really recommend to see them because he's explaining it much better than I do, and he's really a lot of experiences, and he's a really smart guy for explaining this stuff. And he is really pointing out some he's explaining it really well. For starting with the book, I will show you some graphs. Page 60, and it's about price and value, because in this book mainly we are talking about prices in dollars, euros, yen, yuan, or whatever you like. But he's really pointing out, it helps. This is why I really recommend you to read this book, because he's pointing out that we should mention and we should separate price and value, because it doesn't help for you. It doesn't help you if you invest in whatever, in a car, or if you buy a car and you say, oh, it's so cheap, or it's so expensive, but if your income has grown fast, then probably it's getting cheaper for you. But this was a shitty explanation. Let's start a new term. No, he's pointing out that price and value and from commodities, and you will see some charts where he's measuring the Dow Jones in dollars, in gold, and in commodities, and this is a really remarkable chart. You'll see it, because we are mainly, like I told you, we are mainly thinking about goods priced in dollars, but this is not just the price. If you're looking, for example, to come back to the car, this is my little bit shitty explanation. If you see a car for probably 10 years ago, it cost you 10,000 euros, but then you have to look how many barrels of oil, for example, could you buy at this time for 10,000 euros. And now you look nowadays, and then you probably realize that the price in real terms, or in real commodities, has changed a lot, because we are mainly thinking about the paper price. But this is really explained in many. He's explaining it in several charts, and I really like the way he's explaining it, because it's easily understandable for everybody. Yeah, like he's pointing out, since 1999, the value of Dow measured in oil, crude oil, has declined 87.5%. So if you invested in stocks 10 years ago, you probably might think, oh, I made a big return, or it's 20% about. But if you're measuring it in real terms, you lost money, because the amount of money printed at the same time has risen enormously, and the stocks didn't recompensate this loss. Here's another one I wanted to show you. There's another really interesting graph about home prices in silver, measured in silver. This is really what I like, because there are many people that like the real estate market. And here I find a chart. In the x-axis you find the years from 1890 to up to 2007, 2008, and in the y-axis you find the ounces, the amount of ounces in silver needed for a medium home in the United States. The last week I've been telling you about the real estate market in the US and the problems we are seeing, and this chart is really expressing a lot about this stuff. You're seeing the chart moving, you're seeing a really peak in here. It's around 2006, 2007 where home prices peaked. This time you had to pay around 40,000 ounces of silver for a medium average house in the United States. This was the absolute peak. This was really, really, really expensive, and he's explaining it in the cycles we are seeing in the past. And if you have a look at the last boom, precious metals boom, at the end of the 70s in here, you had to pay only around 800 ounces of silver for one house. That means the price measured in silver for houses has been below 1,000 ounces, and now from this 40,000 we are now declining. And so in this point it would have been the best stuff to sell your house and buy silver. Here in the boom you could have sold your silver, and then you could have gained a lot of money with this. But now it's really the time. He thinks, and I think it's getting the time for the precious metals. Even if they have been risen, over the last 10 years already, there's still a lot of potential. And if you see now 1,000 ounces of silver, it's around 20,000 euros. And if we are coming back to this position, like I suppose we are going, and then you will probably you are buying for 20,000 euros in silver, and then you can get one medium house, one house for this amount of silver, because the precious metals are getting remonetized. It means that you're having the precious metals, gold and silver, are reflecting the money flowing around, the amount of money, and the prices have to rise because we are seeing really insane stuff. What I told you about Bill Gross, this is crazy. Would be the same stuff or comparable stuff. Sepp Blatter would say the football is shit, or you shouldn't play football or something. But you can't. He's investing billions for investors, and he's saying that's a fraud, and he's saying it in public. So times have changed, and we are not seeing like the president is saying we will see change. We are seeing incredible changes, and this is, and we are already so used to this stuff. So that the people, the main media or the mainstream media doesn't really care about. Okay, so far for this. I hope you understood some of the stuff I've been telling you about this book, but really recommend you to buy this one. It's around 16 or I think $16, $16. You can buy it in Amazon.com, and they're also shipping to Europe, and it's really worth reading it. Even if you're not interested in gold and silver, it's interesting to read the history and this stuff about what I told you about value and price. It helps a lot, even if you're not willing or not interested in investing in this stuff. Well, and this is really an objective book. Even if he's having an enterprise and company, is dealing with gold and silver, but this book is really objectively written, and it's really worth reading it. Okay, guys. Okay, enough for today. Hope you understood some of the stuff, or I explained it more or less well, and see you next time, and then I'll tell you some stuff about the silver manipulation story going on, because this might really change, or this might write history again. We have seen this story in the 80s with the Hunt brothers, but now it might be a similar story, but this time another way around. Last time it was manipulation for higher prices, and this time this investigation is manipulation because of too low suppressed prices in silver. So let's see what's happening next week. It will be really interesting to see how the markets will react after the elections and after the Fed announcing a new incredible money printing orgy. Okay, goodbye, good evening.